We've heard of A Midsummer Night's Dream, but this film is a midsummer nightmare. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 reasons Midsommar is the scariest movie of 2019. For this list, we're taking a look at what critics and audiences are saying about Ari Aster's latest feat of folk horror. Number 10. It's f***ed up, but in a good way. With his feature directorial debut Hereditary, Ari Aster delivered an instant horror classic that had audiences asking WTF for all the right reasons. Aster's follow-up film is another descent into beautiful insanity that'll leave you traumatized, revolted, and horrified, yet unable to look away.
What time is it?
9 p.m.
That can't be right, the sky is blue.
This is what 9 p.m. is like here.
Following an advanced screening, several viewers took to Twitter to describe the madness they'd watched unfold. Screen Invasion's Matt Hardman wrote that the film was, quote, truly something special, and it will also f*** up your entire life. Bloody Disgusting's Trace Thurman shared a similar sentiment, calling it a, quote, mind f*** of the highest order. Chris Evangelista of Slash Film was especially enthralled by the film's ending, writing, as Midsommar draws to an alarming, eye-popping conclusion, you'll be left stunned. Number 9. Its effective use of blood and gore. In recent years, the horror genre has been moving away from the torture porn tactics that aimed to shock audiences without offering any substance. With Midsommar, Aster reminds audiences that extreme violence can actually serve a purpose in establishing mood and telling a story. In Tim Grierson's review for Screen Daily, he wrote that Midsommar explodes with blood and gore, as well as ideas about our primal nature and the universe's startling ability to mete out justice, no matter how unexpectedly. Scott Wampler of Birth Movie's Death also gave his readers a, quote, gentle reminder. Ari Aster is not afraid to smash cut to a gory close-up. Where this could have come off as gratuitous in lesser hands, Aster knows how to incorporate carnage without taking cheap shots.
You're gonna love it.
Number 8. Its chilling musical score. In Hereditary, Colin Stetson composed a piercing musical score that made it feel as if our skin was slowly being peeled off.
Get out! Peter!
For Midsommar, Aster turned to musician Bobby Krilic, better known by his stage name, the Haxan Cloak. Once again, Aster's film owes much of its creepy atmosphere to its music, which IndieWire described as, quote, an eerie wail. While Variety's Andrew Barker took issue with the characters and pacing, he felt that the music drove the narrative forward, writing that Bobby Krilic's, quote, inventive, eminently confident score supplies quite a lot of the emotional heavy lifting that the screenplay neglects, and imbues even the more ridiculous spectacles with artful intrigue. Number 7. Its arresting visuals.
Unbelievable.
There seems to be a consensus that horror movies need to primarily take place at night, and the key scares have to be draped in darkness. Aster challenges this notion in Midsommar, setting a majority of the story in a village where the sun never sets. Dread Central's Jonathan Barkin wrote that, quote, cinematographer Pavel Pogorzelski captures Helsingland in all its rural majesty. Jay Hurtado of Screen Anarchy was impressed with not only the camera work, but also the movie's sets, praising the art direction and production design as, quote, bursting with tiny details that will have audiences revisiting scenes over and over again looking for clues. Number 6. There are plenty of themes to analyze. Similar to Toni Collette's character in Hereditary, the protagonist of Midsommar faces a personal tragedy. Comparing Midsommar to Hereditary, Eric Cohn wrote in IndieWire that, quote, Aster has crafted a complex allegory for grief and anger against the backdrop of more symbolic threats, but this time, they're hiding in plain sight. Vanity Fair's Richard Lawson also drew parallels between the two films, writing that if Hereditary was about the repellent nature of grief, Midsommar is about the allowance that comes after that. In both movies, the themes of loss and trauma tie into the terror, making the audience paranoid and increasingly intrigued. In other words, Aster is a master of horror, but you wouldn't want him as your therapist.
I don't know why you invited us.
Number 5. The humor services the horror.
So we're just gonna ignore the bed?
It's a bear.
Hereditary wasn't without its moments of dark humor, but Screen Anarchy describes Midsommar as frequently and deliberately hilarious. Slash Film's Chris Evangelista was somewhat caught off guard by the film's sense of humor, cheekily opening his review saying, quote, "After filling audiences with dread with Hereditary, director Ari Aster has decided to make a comedy." That being said, Evangelista clarifies that the film is equal parts funny and frightening, writing that Midsommar, quote, "blends both laugh-out-loud humor and mind-blowing weirdness."
Dude, she needs a therapist. You've been wanting out of this stupid relationship for like a year now.
Dread Central highlighted Will Poulter as a source of self-aware humor, describing his character as, quote, "specifically there to laugh at and not with." Number 4. Florence Pugh's petrifying performance. With 2 feature films now under his belt, there are 3 things we're coming to expect from Aster's work: a unique approach to the horror genre, an uncomfortable tone, and a captivating performance from the female lead.
I'm a medium, okay? I was seeing apparitions earlier and I just shook them off, and I shouldn't have.
Florence Pugh has received nothing but praise for her breakthrough performance in Midsommar. Screen Anarchy compared Pugh to Toni Collette, raving, quote, "She's asked to express an incredible range of emotion in Midsommar, and she nails it at every turn."
That sounds fun.
Screen Daily's Tim Grierson was enamored with Pugh as well, writing that she delivers a, quote, "supple performance that nonetheless requires her to go big during the movie's feverish later sections."
What am I going through?
We just need to acclimate.
I don't want to acclimate, I want to go.
Absolutely not.
What's happening?
Number 3. It's Like The Wickerman, the good one. Today, The Wicker Man is mainly associated with Nicolas Cage running around in a bear suit and getting an eye full of bees.
Oh, no, not the bees! Not the bees! Ah!
Midsommar shares more in common with the 1973 original, including its mysterious village and disturbing atmosphere.
The game of the hunted leading the hunter. You came here to find Rowan Morrison, but it is we who have found you and brought you here.
Jordan Peele, the writer-director of Get Out and Us, even went as far to say that Midsommar usurps The Wicker Man as the most iconic pagan movie to be referenced. The Wicker Man isn't the only horror classic the film has earned comparison to. The Hollywood Reporter's John DeFore noticed a nod to Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, while other reviews have referenced everything from Cannibal Holocaust to Long Weekend to The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. All the while, Midsommar maintains an identity that's all its own.
What's the matter with you, McGregor? Do you call that dancing?
Number 2. It's strangely relatable. As crazy as Midsommar can get, people may be surprised by just how much they come to identify with its depiction of toxic relationships.
How long have you two been together?
Just over 3.5 years.
4 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Haley Fouch of Collider described the film as a, quote, breakup drama, reframed through the lens of a kaleidoscopic psychological nightmare. As Danny and Christian's relationship falls apart, Fouch explained, audiences are drawn with them into the public rituals of breaking up, the poisonous codependency, the public awkwardness, and the inevitable and dramatic crash. Likewise, Nerdist editor Lindsay Romaine found the film to be, quote, a wicked, accurate depiction of intoxicating mania. So probably not the ideal movie for a first date. Not quite at the end yet. Almost there though. Just be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Alright, back to business. Number 1. It's a worthy follow-up to Hereditary. Ari Aster set the bar pretty high with Hereditary, which WatchMojo selected as the best film of 2018.
You know you were her favorite, right?
Critics have not only generally agreed that Midsommar is a worthy sophomore outing, but also exemplifies Aster's evolution behind the camera. Birth Movie's Death asks the question that everyone will likely have going in. Is Midsommar as scary as Hereditary?
What's happening? Why is everyone scared?
Why are you scaring me?
The review suggested that Midsommar is an entirely different breed of scary, although it will give you nightmares. While not necessarily better than Hereditary, Birth Movie's Death did call Midsommar a smoother ride than Aster's previous film, showing growth on his part as a filmmaker and further cementing this director as a dude who can definitely be counted on to pull no punches.
I was most excited for you to come.
agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.